What's up, bro? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Diego, right?
Yes, sir.
What's up?
Elijah?
Yeah, Alaya.
Elijah. Nice to meet you, man.
And you're friends of Luis, or?
Luis. No, exactly. I am. I'm actually her kind of stepbrother.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah,
Dope, man. But yeah, we like got connected like a long time ago. I'm happy we're doing something with it. I'm trying
exactly.
to find like a good background right now. I just moved into a new place and I have like nothing up.
So where'd you live?
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Huh?
Where'd you live?
I'm in Montreal right now.
Thanks.
Yeah.
You doing school there?
I go to school there, yeah. I was in New York before, and now since the school year started, I'm in Montreal. Okay, maybe I
What school are you at?
I'm at McGill.
Nice. You like it?
Yeah, I like it a lot. How about you? Where do you go to school?
Well, I graduated like last year.
Okay, sweet.
In a year, no, actually, it's been a year and a half, nearly two now.
LA right now or what?
I'm working right now. Yeah, I'm currently in LA. I'm working for like a production movies thing.
That's dope, man. Luis is doing something similar, no?
Exactly. It was kind of in the same company as her, but I'm here locally. And
That's
like
very
doing like
cool.
consumer goods and merchandising, and she was like on set and everything, so she was having a blast.
Yeah, from what I heard, it sounded so cool.
Yeah, it was nice.
Like crazy stuff.
Exactly.
I feel like I still need something behind me, bro.
Honestly, it's not bad. I can as long as I can see you, it's all good.
There's nothing, bro. There's not even one freaking thing. That's unacceptable. Put this guy up.
Let's put something on the walls.
Some random. It's my needlepoint. This is
Beautiful.
going on a pair of pants.
Oh, nice. Nice. Hey, where'd you get those fabrics, bro? Did you buy them, make them?
I found it at like a thrift store.
Nice. Beautiful.
That's a good spot right there. God. They don't want to get in the wall. There we go, man.
I agree with you. It makes the perfect. There we go. Much better. Yeah. Anyway, so Elijah, tell me about yourself. So, where are you from originally?
So I'm originally from New York, upstate New York, an hour north of New York City. But my mom's from Sweden and my dad's from Canada. So I essentially have like I'm tri citizen. I don't know, like tri national.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're
So I
Canadian and American and Swedish.
exactly. But I lived. I got a scholarship to go study the IB program in the Netherlands. So I left New York when I was 17, I think, to do 2 years there. And
Uh-huh.
then since I graduated, I've been in Montreal now for like 3 years.
Okay. And what do you study?
I study sustainable. It's like business, but sustainable business. It's called strategic management for sustainability.
Interesting.
And I was just in a business school like before, and I mean I'm still in it, but I like changed my degree to become a little bit more environmentally focused because I mean the classes just appealed much more to me, and
Hmm.
it just seems like an interesting degree to take. I feel.
No, definitely. That's it's. I mean, why have you always been interested, kind of in like the environment and wanting to do something about that, or is it kind of just came?
Honestly, no, I really have. Like since I was young and I grew up in like kind of a more rural and like beautiful area, it's definitely more like I'm definitely feel a bit more connected to it. Like when I was younger, we would go out on the road and like pick up trash like a couple times a month or whatever. And I mean, you just have like a deeper appreciation for nature, I feel like, when you grow up in it. So it's definitely been something I've always been focused or like interested in, and that's kind of like one of the elements that I spin into the clothes as well, into the creation of each piece.
Interesting. And were you ever fashion oriented? Like, or you always have been like very.
Honestly, it's kind of funny. Like it started in high school. I watched this like documentary or like a YouTube documentary. I'm sure like mad other people watched it. It was about the reselling of Supreme or some shit. Like I don't know if it was Vice or someone, and they made it look like so lit. And I was like, yo, I'm gonna sell Supreme and get rich, and this and that. And that's honestly how I started getting into fashion. And like obviously that's like really like primitive fashion, like just getting Supreme and this and that. But obviously that built and grew onto like more unique pieces and like more thrifting involved and less just like hype pieces. Maybe like putting a little hype piece in here or there, but
Absolutely.
definitely not like wearing clothes to flex like so many people tend to do. And
Absolutely.
it wasn't until last year that I started making clothes myself. And that's kind of just like when fashion took a whole different, like, it took a whole different direction, you know? Like, being able to create your own fit is just like, I mean, you have so much more freedom, you know?
Absolutely. And I have a question towards that. Did you ever wear like or buy other people's like custom clothing? Were you ever interested in like that whole dominium, or was it just
I was really interested in it, but no, I never had it, honestly. Until this year, I bought some. I bought one piece.
Mhm.
I'll show you right here.
Yeah,
This is like my friend's brand. Some
yeah.
shorts.
It's pretty sick actually.
You know, shout out Never Ending.
Yeah.
Uh, but no, I mean, I followed accounts on Instagram and like I was like, yeah, this is cool. Like one of one pieces is amazing. Like, I mean,
And
that's
what do
just
you what do you think about the one-on-one pieces? Like, because I mean, for me, what really attracted me, bro, is like, dude, people spend too much money, too much time into like this fast fashion world that just comes and goes, trends just, and like what really attracted me to like this one-on-one clothes, like you're actually buying an asset that is like done and created by someone, and like you as an artist now can really understand what it takes to like create stuff. You know, it's like a lot of it's very personal at the end of the day. You know, people don't seem to
definitely,
realize it.
bro. Like, I'm gonna show you right here. Like, I'm starting to make bags,
Hmm.
and so like just the bag part, I haven't put the
Oh,
straps on.
nice. How to like a gene.
This shit took me like 8 hours to make, man.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like when you say, yeah, it's like a personal experience, like, yeah, I was like hunched over a sewing machine for 8 hours. My neck was killing me, my back was killing me for like 2 days afterwards. It's like a process. Like, I feel like some people might misunderstand it, like, oh, like, here, take my jeans, have fun with them, like, you know, do some designs. Like, people used to like think that all the time, like, oh, I mean, it's a hobby, like, he enjoys it. But like, while the process and the outcome is like so cool, and the fact that I was able to manifest my ideas and my like thoughts into like a tangible design that I can wear,
Mhm.
like, that's really cool, but it's still like a lot of labor that goes into it. So it's just like, it's different than just getting mass produced stuff. Like, you have so much love and like energy put into this one piece, and that's kind of going to be reflected in the way you like wear it and keep it forever. Like, there's so many pairs of clothes that I have and friends have gone through, I know as well, where you buy it because it's pretty cheap, it
Mhm.
looks fine in the moment, but like in a year tops you definitely won't be wearing it anymore.
Mhm.
And
Absolutely.
like,
And I think that with that as well, it's like that's another thing I'm wondering, like how challenging is it for you, which like you're kind of starting in this venture of yours, to kind of be able to find the right price for your items. You say that you spent 8 hours on a bag. Like obviously, it's hard to get those really high prices initially because you kind of need notoriety and people to kind of like how tough is that?
yeah, I mean, for me, pricing has been like always kind of interesting. It's been a question because how do you value your own work? How do you think people are going to react to the price you put on it? Are they going to think it's too much? Is it too little? Like, uh, it's kind of hard, you know? So at first, when I first started creating, I was doing work for free actually, just like
Interesting.
producing stuff for friends. Like, I probably made like well over 10 pairs of pants for free at this point.
Hmm.
Uh, After that, I started charging like, honestly, like under $100 for my work. And then I was just like, no, I know it's worth more than this now. Then I made moved it to $100. And now like, I don't think I'd sell a pair of pants for under $200. And this, or like not much under $200. And this bag, I would have to, I'll be taxing, you know, like
Hmm.
for 8 hours, like it's worth $200. And like,
Hmm.
I understand it's like hard because like I want my friends to be wearing my clothes. I want people around me to be wearing it. Like, obviously those prices aren't attainable to anyone, but I'm just confident in my creation and in my craft. And I've had people telling me, like older people who have like that money to spend, they're like, why are you listing it for so cheap. Like you
Mhm.
could be selling these pants for like $350 easily. I'm like, I still want people to like, I don't want to be like an asshole by making it too expensive, and I want people to have it. But I mean, it's just gonna get there eventually. I feel like.
Absolutely. And I think it takes time as well. Like, and I think, people kind of need to be rewarded too, to like people that kind of where they're at the start. Imagine people that bought a jean for free, or the people that got the jeans for free, or the people that paid $80 for them. When those pants are going to be worth 400, $500, those guys still have an asset that like increased in value. So like it was
Exactly.
an investment, and that's like the whole beautiful demographic of custom clothing itself and like one-on-one pieces, bro. Is that at the end of the day you're buying an asset. You're buying something that can only increase in value, because usually when you tend to buy it is like kind of like the starting. You're not buying shit that Kanye West made, when he was young. You're buying an artist that's like growing, and so I think that's like the
Yeah.
beautiful aspect of it. How long have you been making clothes? You said 1 year.
No, more than a year now. Like about a year and a half. I
Nice.
started at the beginning of quarantine, but I had been interested in starting for like well over a year before that, and I just never like actually sat down and got to it until quarantine. Like there was a sewing machine at home. I had a hole in my pants. I was like, yo, I'm just gonna do this shit. Like
You
gonna
kind
customize it on the way. And I really just got like super addicted to it. After doing the first pair, I just did like I don't know, like 3 or 4 pairs, like really within rapid succession.
of,
And I mean, I don't really wear those pairs now because I've like developed so much more, but it's still cool like to see the start from the start to now.
definitely. And I have a question. So in your words, and it doesn't have to be only fashion oriented, or kind of just in your own life or getting to where you are now. Like, what were some of your struggles, you'd have to say, like stuff that you had to overcome, but now that you kind of were willing to share and just for others to listen.
Mm, I mean, I can't say I've had to overcome like exceptional struggles compared to
Hmm.
probably a lot of people in their lives. Obviously, everyone has their own problems on a minor or a major scale, like day to day or even like year to year problems. But I feel like some of the like it definitely like a struggle I had to overcome that helped me a lot was when I left home at like 17. So like for some people maybe that's pretty old, but like most people I know didn't leave
Hmm.
until like 19 or older or whatever, 18 at least. No, I'm sorry, I left at 16. So just to moving to Europe was like very much of a shock at first to leave everything behind, like all my friends, everything I knew. But through that, I feel like I just gained like so much experience and culture and like kind of independence that I can rely on like anywhere in the world. I'll be sorted.
That's
Just
very true.
uh,
It's a blessing, honestly. It's a
yeah,
huge
huge, huge plus.
blessing. Yeah, to have opportunity to travel.
That sounds so funny though. Like my biggest challenge was moving to Europe. That's so funny.
No, but it's a good thing, bro. I mean, said as I think you said it very well at the start, that maybe you're lucky to not have to have struggles that many other people have in the world. But at the same time, we have to be proud of our steps and what we've gone through. No matter what, like we all have different types of struggles, and within that, like as much as it might sound easy or whatever, like it's tough, bro. Like I moved to, like multiple countries. Like I was in Italy for some of my life, and my parents divorced, and I had to move to France, and like
Mhm.
and it's tough, bro, to find like a new environment and being comfortable with it, and like it really takes like
Especially alone, like
yeah, it takes conscious work. Like you have to like really think about it and like be okay. Fuck, I want to meet people, and I want to put myself out there and like learn about it's a lot of interest, and I think it kind of builds character.
now I'm connected. Like I got
Exactly that too.
friends throughout the whole globe.
That's beautiful, bro. And I wanted to go kind of back to sustainable fashion, because I feel like that's a big, well, just sustainability in general.
Yeah.
Because you've done business, how realistic do you think is, and this is just me asking out of pure interest, someone that studies that, how realistic do you think it is to actually like people trying to be sustainable? Because I feel like, I mean, this is maybe my very derogative view of the world that goes into like I think that there's a very few people that could make a very big difference, and you know what do you think about that in regards to like sustainability and where we're going towards?
I would agree to a certain degree that there's only a few people that can really make a difference in the grand scheme of things. Like I'm
Hmm.
pretty sure like the top 10 companies account for like almost all of CO2
Hmm.
emissions, like basically.
Hmm.
But that doesn't mean that like on an individual level we should be making the problem worse. Like if you're in a position, which all of us are, we're in a free position to basically do good and do what we believe in, regardless of if you're going to save the world or not. I think you should definitely try to take whatever steps you can. Now, am I
Absolutely.
the most sustainable person I know? For sure not.
Hmm.
But kind of the ethos for the company is going to generally be like timeless pieces used from pre-existing fabrics. So that means fabrics that are already out in production, like thrifted materials, thrifted fabrics, thrifted denims, needle points, because that basically like revamps. It gives a new life to an
Absolutely.
old piece. Like this has been a discarded piece of pants or a discarded piece of art that someone else like donated. They didn't want like that. I mean, someone else might enjoy it from the thrift store, but like by reintroducing that to the market, you not only bring away some pressure to buy new from like Zara or
Hmm.
whatever other company, but you also take it out of like the dumps or whatever.
Absolutely.
If it sits on the shelves in Goodwill, it might get thrown out one day too, you
Hmm.
know?
I mean, I think that like the whole idea of upcycling is genius, and especially for like artists that want to give the item a new life. Like it really is something that it just kind of just relives it, and it lives like a whole different life, like a whole different aesthetic because of what you added into it.
Yeah, man. And I feel like it's the easiest way for anybody who's out there trying to create clothes to get into it. Because,
That,
like, all it takes ultimately is your own vision. Take a piece and start customizing it. Like, it's much harder to source proper t shirts and fabrics, do digital designs, find a screen printer or a DGT printer. Like, to do all this, like, business, like, producing type of stuff, it's
hmm.
much harder. But if you just want to make one piece, like, just get your creativity on, like do what you want to do, see if it looks dope, keep doing it. It's much easier on a one-to-one scale.
Absolutely. But I think even most people like I think that's even like a step, right? Like at the end of the day, like as a brand, you all want to be able to scale it, hypothetically, like one by one pieces, unless like you're very limited capsules of like, every year this amount of pieces, but eventually with time you want to scale it. But you can scale it sustainably. I kind of wanted to go back to that. Like it's true, you're absolutely right that we can all make a difference, but at the same time, like how much do we actually take into account? Like I feel like if we really wanted to, as you said, have the freedom to like make choices that could actually make a difference, like we should generally be boycotting half of the brands or half of the things that kind of fill our life with like, easy. Like I don't know, I bought shit from Amazon, but I fucking hate Jeff Bezos, so.
Same, man, same.
But
uh like I
yeah,
don't know, maybe we can make that big of a difference, but as long as you're consciously like not hurting the problem more than
I see,
helping it, I guess.
I
And
see.
like I talked about one of one pieces and sustainability, but like I definitely plan on also like producing some stuff as well. Like I want to print t-shirts, I want to do this and that.
Hmm.
And while I've tried to like find all the shirts through thrift, like just really not realistic. Like you're not gonna find enough blanks that you need in the size that you want. So I'm gonna also be like contributing in a way, but at least I hope for these pieces to be like worn and appreciated for like many years
Absolutely.
rather than maybe a couple seasons.
And I feel like for you too, like if you're really interested in that and you're passionate about that, like even it would be interesting to see someone go through the effort of trying to create something that usually is tend to be used straight out of China or straight out of things that kind of like use these like unethical like labors or whatnot. But maybe trying to find a more ethical way to do it, like maybe really going into the process and into the supply chain and being like, okay, this is where my cotton was sourced, and this is the people that created that, and this is the people, because I think that story, it's beautiful to hear, and I would want to be part of it, right? Like I as a consumer, I'd want to be part of that story and be able to contribute.
That's a good point because I mean it is hard to find that type of fabric and those type of blanks, but it's definitely possible. I mean,
Hmm.
paying a higher price, but
Exactly.
if it's part of, which it is, if it's part of like the overall message of the brand, like
Hmm.
it has to stick with that.
Absolutely. I think it kind of really, there was this one but one friend of mine was showing me this phone, right? Like this person wanted to get off social media and stuff. She was like, no, I don't want to do any of this. So she wanted to buy this phone that literally uses two things. It can send messages and receive calls, right? And obviously
Mhm.
call people. But that phone is like made somewhere in like a very like small place, a small like, and it costs like $500. So it's
Yeah,
like a phone that does like half the shit, costs like extremely expensive, but like a lot of people bought it because they were willing to fund this idea of like kind of being, minimalistic, digital minimalist, and but all that to say that a higher price is deserved when more curation is taken in the project, right? So I
for
think
sure.
that makes
If
sense.
people see value in it, they'll pay it, you know?
Exactly.
A lot of people will see the value.
Where do you, so when are you gonna graduate? School.
I'm gonna graduate hopefully next year. No, I got basically 4 semesters left.
Okay, so pretty much 2 years
Yeah, 2 years.
without summer or whatnot.
Yeah,
Um,
without.
and where do you see yourself living? Did you like Canada?
Mm, I don't know, man. It's so hard to say. It's so
Interesting,
hard to say. I'd love to live in Paris eventually.
beautiful.
Montreal is great, but I think in 2 years I'll have graduated the city. Like
Yeah.
I'll be moving on to something else probably. New York has like an amazing energy, honestly.
Hmm.
Maybe maybe I'd see myself going there. But really, I'm open, man. I don't know. Well, I don't like to plan myself like that.
It's good.
I'll see where I
Appreciate
end
it.
up.
And what does your brand name stand for? Was it Soleil Construction?
Yeah,
Construction?
honestly, man, it doesn't really stand for anything. It's just sun construction. But it basically the brand is like Soleil,
Hmm.
but I wanted to make it like constructions or like construct all my constructions.
Hmm.
So it's essentially a construction company. That's the brand. Like
Uh,
it's not a clothing company. It's not a design company. It's a construction company. I want to get into making rugs. I want to get into like more videography, photography, uh, like I don't know, just like any type of construction, any type of creation is going to be posted under this brand.
I see. And so this is kind of just the beginning here.
Yeah, this is pretty much the beginning. Just the close is the beginning.
That's
Like
dope.
the long term goal is to build kind of just a house of like design and creativity all under one label. I mean,
Hmm.
it would be amazing to have it as like a working company as well that could be like hired to do music videos or whatever.
Oh, I
It has
see.
its own record label, its own fashion line, and they all work kind of like collectively but separately. Like the clothes wouldn't be like merch of the music. It would be like its whole own company doing
Hmm.
its own fashion line. And then whatever people do in the music and the record label, like that's up to them, you know?
Absolutely. How old are you?
I'm 21 right now.
Hey, so you're finally legal to drink in Canada.
Nah, bro, it's 18 here, man.
Oh, it's 18. That's true. Oh, that's clutch.
It's in the US that it's
Yeah,
21.
bro, that shit's booty, man. I literally, it was the worst thing, like, cause I'm born like at the end of the year, so I turned 23 in November. But when I got to school, I was 17, and so I didn't manage to become 18 when I was in Europe because I went to school in Boston. So I turned 18 in the US, and I was still
Oh,
underage for
man,
like 4 years, bro. And it was a nightmare.
that's horrible.
It
For
was
me,
tough.
it was weird because I was moving back and forth. I was in Europe. I was drinking like coffee shops and shit, all legal. Get back to New York, like nothing, like not even tobacco, bro. They changed it.
That's
Couldn't
crazy.
couldn't even get a vape or nothing.
Nothing.
And then I would come to Canada, be legal, go back home for Christmas. It's so weird, man.
It's interesting. I actually find that very interesting how that is. Like, I don't understand why the U.S. is so pulled back on alcohol. It doesn't. It
I
doesn't
know,
really make sense to me.
but not about everything else.
Exactly. Like there's much more serious shit. Like I feel like the whole gun thing. Like you're able to buy a gun 18. Like that doesn't make sense to me. You're able to drive a
Earlier,
car
earlier, I
16.
think.
You can drive a car when you're 16, bro, and you can't, drink booze.
Yeah.
So
You
that's
can.
something I have a hard time understanding. But so is there anything that so is there any particular things you'd like to talk about in this interview? Because now I was just driven into asking questions because I'm always interested. But
Yeah, yeah.
if you had any subjects that you wanted to get into,
No, no, no. Should I show the pants?
yeah, absolutely, show the pants, man, show everything.
Show the pants. A little bit of action here. This is a nice pair of pants because it's actually on some beautiful Calvin Klein denims.
Hey,
Very high
Kobe
quality
pie.
denim.
Yeah,
Uh, bro, this I'm gonna take some like real good pictures for you, but
absolutely.
the pocket,
It's
just
fine.
this is the weirdest way to show pants. Big
Damn.
needle
And it's
point
always just kind of like, oh wow, wow,
back. It's like little openings
that's pretty wild.
to a secret garden.
Hey. And so do you plan these creations out or you kind of just dig into it when you're doing it?
This happens, man. Like I tend to find these pieces in thrift stores. Usually when I see a piece, I'm just like, okay, I want to do this with it, or I'll just buy it and I'll figure it out later.
Okay.
But I mean, this one, I'll show you the rest of it. I basically sacrificed a whole piece just to get like this head because I wanted it alone. It was initially on this piece
Oh, I'm dead.
with
And you're
the
going to, oh, I see. That's beautiful. That's a beautiful piece of fabric, bro. What the hell?
yeah, crazy. But I
I
just
feel
wanted
like
her
you could do,
face.
I feel like you could do some crazy shit with the other stuff too.
I'm gonna end up using it for something. I mean, the fabrics are really cool. I have like quite a few.
That's beautiful, man. And have you ever thought of kind of making your own fabrics? Like, do you even know how you could get into that?
This shit probably took somebody like 20
But
fucking hours to
but
make.
what? They're handmade?
Yeah, man, they're handmade.
Really?
These are truly like work of art,
But so what type of thrift stores do you go to that you can find things like this, bro?
like antique shops, even just Goodwill and stuff, man. They have it sometimes. It's so rare though. Facebook Marketplace sometimes.
See. Okay. See.
They're rare to come by though. That's why it's like also kind of the price is justified because
Mhm.
when I find a piece like this, like I'll never find this piece again, most likely.
That's true.
So
For sure. I mean,
I
if
have
they're handmade, for sure, you're never gonna find it again.
I have an idea and I put the work in and then it's a product that will pretty much never come around again.
Never. That's the beauty of it too, bro. Then someone gets to buy that, or gets to purchase
That's true, man. And I found it interesting how you're talking about it like an asset. Like I never thought about it like that, but it's so true. Like there's so many creative artists I feel like that have grown bigger and bigger, and now their stuff is so much more valuable. And people who had like an early pair, like that's huge. Like to have one of the first ones made
it. Absolutely. Um,
artists.
you're absolutely right. And I think that's the beauty of like the custom clothing industry. It's because like you're not only investing in something that's like beautiful that you love, but you're investing in someone's life. And I feel like people really don't realize how important that is because like this individual, like if I'm willing to buy it at today, right? Like you made a name for yourself. Like I know you through Louise, whatever. But if I'm willing to buy it at the price that you're giving it to me today, without having that whole history or like that whole background of what you will end up doing with your whole life, like it just can only go up. Like I haven't bought anything branded in maybe like 4 years, bro. Because all
Damn,
I buy is
that's
like custom clothing, bro. Like I swear to God.
sick, man. That's dope.
And but it's rewarding. It really is.
You're
Like
really living that life then, huh?
no, I have to, bro. But I got into college, bro, and pièce unique was the first thing I wanted to do because I studied entrepreneurship and innovation. So all we were thinking about was like businesses, like how to start one, how to bootstrap a startup, and do all that stuff. And I just had pièce unique was just there because I encountered the issues that I do. Like I had a hard time, and especially like now it's getting much simpler. But dude, 4 years ago buying custom clothing, bro, it was like a gamble. Like I was like sending money to these people, and they're like, "Yo, bro, I got you." Then 4 weeks later, I'm like, bro, where's my piece? They're like, oh, I'm still working on it. So it was like a really big gamble on my behalf to do these
Yeah,
things, and it was never curated. There was never kind of a third party. So it was kind of a personal thing. I was like, someone needs to do this shit. Someone
yeah,
needs to be able to
definitely. It's a
screen that.
great platform for that for sure.
Yeah, exactly. I appreciate that, by the way.
Organizes everything together.
Exactly. I try my best, but it's a really work in progress, bro. And that's the one thing I really want people to understand is that, I don't have a team behind me. I don't have capital behind me. Like everything that I've put into it, invested was stuff that I made myself. So it's really, it's a bootstrap, and it can only work if people are willing to work with it. Like I can't do anything by myself. I need artists like yourself and buyers like whomever. So
Definitely, man.
you guys are really important to the vision.
Definitely,
Um,
man.
is there,
Success.
yeah, is there anything you kind of wanna? I think we went over like a good 30 minutes, but is there anything you would like to kind of, advice to give, or an opinion to have? Because I feel like a lot of people would love to be able to jump into kind of the same ventures that you're doing. And
Yeah, I would give okay a couple bits of advice. Jump into it for sure, but don't jump into it like an idiot. Like, don't invest. Don't do what I did basically. The sewing part was super chill because I had a sewing machine at home, but I was like, okay, I want to get into screen printing. I went and I got like $1,000 worth of equipment, and then realized how incredibly difficult and light sensitive and studio necessary that process is. And basically, I was like, I can't do this right now with the location I have, the point in life, like my skill set. I can't do this. Like, don't waste your money. Just like get a sewing machine. Like a cheap one is like 100, $200. Get it maybe a heat press for DTG, but don't like invest your life savings. Just see if you like it first, and like you don't need the most expensive, nicest stuff at first. Just start creating with your mind and like just bring in something unique. And if you're really into it, then invest in it, and then like really go hard, go for it. But yeah, I wasted some money for sure. I
no,
could have done
you've
better.
learned. You've learned along the way.
I learned, man, for sure.
It's kind of the price you have to pay when you kind
Yeah,
of start things.
but it is what it is.
That's beautiful, bro. Like,